The theory of divine favor and reconciliation, how a man's righteous character brings peace with his enemies. Introduction. The principle that God grants peace between a righteous man and his enemies is rooted in Proverbs 16 verse 7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. This theory explores how righteous living aligns with God's will, prompting divine intervention that subdues conflict and fosters reconciliation. By analyzing scriptural principles, we see how obedience, integrity, and faith provoke peace, even from adversaries. 1. The foundation of pleasing God. To understand how a man's enemies can be at peace with him, we must first define what it means to please God. Faith and obedience. Hebrews 11 verse 6. Without faith it is impossible to please God. A man who trusts and follows God's commands aligns with divine favor. Righteousness and justice. Psalm 34 verse 15. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. Living righteously invites divine protection and intervention. Humility and integrity. Micah 6 verse 8. To do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Humility before God cultivates peace with others. When a man walks according to these principles, he establishes a life that reflects God's character, drawing divine blessings. 2. God's role in reconciling enemies. When a man's life is pleasing to God, the Lord intervenes supernaturally in human affairs, turning hearts and circumstances in his favor. Softening the hearts of enemies. Genesis 33 verse 4. Esau, once determined to kill Jacob, was moved to embrace him instead, displaying how God can change an enemy's heart. Divine protection. Psalm 91 verses 7 to 10. 1,000 may fall at your side, but it shall not come near you. Righteous living invokes God's shield, deterring enemies from causing harm. Transforming conflict into favor. Daniel 6 verse 22. Daniel's integrity before God led even his enemies, King Darius, to recognize God's power and grant him peace. This principle suggests that God, in his sovereignty, works through human hearts to bring peace where strife once existed. 3. Biblical case studies of enemies becoming allies. The Bible presents multiple examples of enemies being pacified when God's favor was upon his people. Joseph and his brothers. Genesis 50 verse 20. Though his brothers sold him into slavery, Joseph's righteous character led to their eventual reconciliation. David and Saul. 1 Samuel 24 verses 17 to 19. Despite Saul's pursuit of David's life, David's righteous actions caused Saul to acknowledge his integrity and spare him. Solomon's peaceful reign. 1 Kings 5 verse 4. Solomon's wisdom and devotion to God brought peace with surrounding nations, fulfilling God's promise of rest. Each case reveals how a person's godly character led to the softening of adversaries, proving that divine favor can transform enmity into peace.